Hello, welcome to the Sim Racing Corner. Today we're in the sim rig for a drive and talk with the new Logitech Pro pedals. Just a quick disclaimer, as always with these drive and talks, this is not a full review. This is an early impressions video. What you can expect this pedal set to be like as a new user with this pedal set. So do understand, guys, a full review will come in the near future, but today it's just early impressions, just a few thoughts. So do understand, I'm not going to cover everything. But you know, just general performance, and yeah, do I like this pedal set as a first impression or don't I? That's what we're going to cover. So let's get started. Okay, guys. First thing, you may be asking, why do I have the pedal set but not the wheelbase right now? Well, I have bought both the wheelbase and the pedal sets, but they have shipped the pedals earlier than the wheelbase, even though I bought them at the same time, because they are separate products. You buy them separately, and the first thing to know about the Logitech Pro pedals is they are USB and they plug into your PC, so you can use them as a standalone pedal set. You use the same Logitech G Hub software that you use the wheelbase, and yeah, you can adjust settings in the G Hub software for the pedals just as you would with other Logitech products. So yeah, pretty simple enough. And it only plugs in via USB. So in the Logitech Pro wheelbase, that also has USB plugs on the sockets on the back of the wheelbase as well. And I kind of like that about this pedal set. Is if you look at some of the other pedal sets out there which have dual dual operation, where you can either use them as standalone or use them plugged into the wheelbase, like Fanatec pedals or the Thrustmaster pedals, TLCM pedals I mean, is they have two types of plugs. They come with a USB cable and also another cable for plugging directly into the back of the wheelbase. And yeah, Logitech have taken the smart move, which makes a lot of sense to me, that these are simply just USB. So the wheelbase will have USB, your PC has USB, so you can use them standalone or plug them into the back of the wheelbase. So that's good news. So yes, you don't need to be a Logitech wheelbase owner to use this pedal set. And to prove it, this is of course a Moser wheelbase, and it's working absolutely fine for me. Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty, so far, I have to say, guys, I'm actually rather happy with this pedal set. They feel really good. Obviously, whenever every time I say stuff like that, I know I'm going to mess up, but that's okay. I'm really not concentrating on the driving. But what I can tell when I'm using a pedal set or hardware which works well for me, I can run these drive and talks and generally be really reasonably competent on the track. Certainly when I have full concentration. Look at me, I'm just I'm waving one hand around, so you can't really expect too much, guys, of me being particularly on the ball here. But if the hardware works for me and I'm getting the right sensations from the pedals or the hardware like a wheelbase, I can carry on reasonably well and carry the conversation, and also drive with a reasonable amount of control and not be too much of a half-wit on the track. And yeah, I'm actually doing okay, although I am sort of thinking a little bit more about the driving right now. But yeah, they are a very nice pedal set, surprisingly nice, because they are quite an unassuming looking pedal set. So if you watch my unboxing video, I'll put a link in the description to that. You can see some of the constituent parts, how what you get, and how you can swap out the materials. Well, basically, when I mean materials, I mean the spring material behind the pedals. So you get a couple of springs installed already. So in the clutch and the throttle, and in the box you get a couple of extra springs, so you can change the stiffness of the clutch and also the throttle. And I'm using the stiffest spring in throttle, and I really like it. It gives me a nice amount of resistance. I'll say probably slightly unrealistically strong resistance for a throttle, but I really like that. I find it gives me better control if the throttle pedal was a bit stiff, so that works for me really well. The clutch is pretty basic. It is a basic spring thing. They haven't gone with like a clutch effect type of mechanism, so it's a fairly boring pedal. If you're into manual cars, then yes, you may be disappointed that it's just a spring mechanism on the clutch. If you're mainly into modern racing cars and you only use the clutch for getting off the starting line, then you're not going to care. And so yeah, it's not for me. I generally drive modern cars. I dabble with manual cars occasionally here and there, but my main interest is more modern racing, so I don't use the clutch that much. But I certainly appreciate when I'm driving a manual gearbox, I do prefer a clutch to have that kind of biting point, that two-stage feel, which you don't get here. So that may be something that's going to put people off. I completely understand that, and you're going to want to look elsewhere if you want that authentic feel of a pedal set. Now let's move on to the brake pedal, because I thought I'd leave that one till, I guess, last. That uses the load cell, and like every brake pedal with a load cell, what it's doing, it's weighing your foot. Your braking is relative to the amount of pressure and pushing into that brake, and then that is being transferred into braking pressure in the game, in the virtual car, and that's allowing me to slow down. If I want to do hard braking, I push harder. I'm pushing more weight into it. I'm feeling it through my leg. If I want lighter braking, I apply lighter pressure, and again, I can feel it through my foot and my leg. And this is something which this brake pedal is done. They've done an amazing job on this. It really is superb. So the way they've done it is, again, look at the drive and the unboxing, sorry, and you'll see what they've done with it. But I'm going to pause this for a moment, because it's easier if I just basically demonstrate and push into this pedal and describe it. Because they're using a system which is very close to the, effectively is a copy of the Fanatec V3 pedals using the brake performance kit. And it's sort of like lengths of elastomer, which you stack up, 2 lengths of elastomer, or you can use a foam piece and elastomer, and there's also a very small piece of foam piece as well, so like a preload, a very soft piece. So it's all stacked up, so you end up with these 3 parts of this material in the brake cylinder. And when you press into it, so just watch the brake as I push into it, and you can see it's quite soft here. I can, it's not very stiff, but it is obviously still applying some pressure into the brake. But I'm feeling a very kind of, it's almost like a sponginess to it, but it feels very realistic to the actual brake pedal in my car, right up to the point when I get to this point here, where it kind of it's soft, but I can feel like a sensation of resistance, nice texture to it. And I push there, and then I get to a slightly more solid part of the braking of the brake, and then you should see a little bit more motion, as again a bit more progressiveness, and then it gets quite stiff at this point. But I have to say that feels just almost like, I wouldn't say it's just like, it's not exact, but it's very close representation of a car brake, in like a real car brake, and it feels like that to me, where you get like a soft bit of it, but you still, obviously when you push a little bit into it, you're still getting some braking, even light braking. And you build up, and you can feel it. You can feel it through your foot. I can feel that sensation of that material compressing, and the resistance to that material, is it, the sponginess of it. And then and it just slowly builds up. It's a really nice curve of progressive feel to that brake. And then when I want more braking, I'm then applying more force on my leg. And it just works. And you know what? When it's intuitive and when it's just all very well aligned, let's just restart that, because I'll probably just crash out. It's natural. You don't even think about it. It's very, it just kind of works for you, and you feel very kind of connected to the car. And this is exactly what this brake is doing. It's very good. And I have to say, surprisingly good. A lot better than I would have expected. And although you can't see it, because obviously when I'm kind of just pushing into the brake, you're just seeing me push into the brake and that's it. But I'm kind of applying different measures of weight into that brake pedal, because it just works. It just feels very natural to me. I feel very in tune with it, and I'm not just sort of going, oh, I just want to apply that much braking and just like slamming on the brake pedal. I'm pushing hard and then easing off, and I can feel that through my leg, I can feel it through my foot. And it's a very natural way of braking. I feel like I'm able to actually apply a really good and kind kind of how can I describe it? A very precise amount of braking all the time. It's not just on and off. It's not like a digital kind of effect where I'm kind of going push brake and then release when I'm happy with it. I'm kind of modulating it. I'm applying different amounts of pressure at all moments, and it feels very natural. I'm not even thinking too much about it. I'm just kind of working with the car, I'm working with the brake pedal, and it just feels really well in tune, and that's really good. And I don't always get that with every load cell brake pedal I use. You know, that amount of sensitivity where I feel that comfortable with it, where I'm just kind of pushing, you know, just always the right amount of pressure, and it just feels like I'm very, you know, I'm very much on top of this pedal. It's really, really good. I probably said really a lot, isn't I? Sorry about that, but yeah, it's just a very natural feeling pedal. It feels realistic, and it gets the, you know, it just works. You know, when it works, it's just brilliant. And you know, you've seen, you know, I've done lots of videos, guys, on this channel with brakes and also modding brake pedals, because they don't always, out the box, they don't always get it right. Logitech, because they've given you a few different kind of things to mess around with. I'm using I'd say the kind of mid stiffness, not the stiffest, not the softest, and I like that. I think it works very well for me. And so you do have the option to kind of swap it around. You know, you can kind of mix it up depending on what you like. And of course, you can also set the brake force in the game on how much kilograms the load cell needs to get to 100% braking. So I've set it at 50 kilos, and that works for me, especially when I'm using socks here. For me, it's the right amount of braking force, and yeah, it's excellent. It really, really is excellent. This is one of the best brake pedals I've used, and I don't use those words lightly, guys. I have to say, it just gets the job done, and it feels really nice to me. I feel really comfortable with it. It is, yes, and you know, as I said, it's an unassuming looking pedal set. You wouldn't expect too much from it. You'd expect it to be, you know, fairly get the job done type of thing, but I have to say, they've done an amazing job here. Logitech have nailed it. You will not be disappointed with this, and I can, you know, right now, my first impression is I would recommend this pedal set. I need to obviously use it a bit longer, and this is a pedal set I would quite happily use with any wheelbase, regardless if it's the Logitech wheelbase. Of course, if you get the Logitech wheelbase and you're going to use it at console, you're going to have to use this pedal set to get up and running, which is fair enough. Just went a bit too hot into that curve. Happens, doesn't it? But never mind. Okay guys, let's wrap up this video, and I just want to mention one final thing, is how solid the pedals feel. So despite it having a plastic pedal deck, which may be a disappointing feature of it, it's not flexing. It feels very stiff, and I dare say you can't see any flex in the cameras below. You know, they feel solid. The way they've designed it, the way they've sort of inset the pedal modules into almost like a little sort of a cavity on the heel plate, supports it really well. So you know, it's something which is well designed. They're using the materials very well to support each pedal, and that's, you know, so yeah, I've got no complaints there. I would have liked the heel plate to maybe have, you know, just even a thin sheet of aluminium, rather than it just being plastic and a textured plastic surface. I think that would have been better. You know, it's a pedal set which is, you know, not cheap. It's not a cheap pedal set, so you know, I can understand that. You know, you look at them, you might be disappointed by that. I accept that, but certainly they don't feel flimsy in any way. It feels very solid as a construction, so that's all good as well. So yeah, everything is pretty much on point here. So there you go, guys. Let's end it now. Of course, I've missed out lots of features. Of course, I haven't said anything about this pedal set. Wait for the review. Look at the unboxing. Of course, you can see, you know, some stuff close up. You know, these driving talks, again, just first impression, what they're like to use, and you know, you heard my words. I'm not going to repeat anything here. So let's end it now, guys. Do drop comments below the video if you own this pedal set. Yeah, drop comments as well. If you want to ask any questions about it, I'll pick it up in the comments, and I'll reply as well. So, and there you go. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, take care, happy simming, and bye bye.